Well, did you check it to see how it sounded?
No.
Did you check the recording?
No.
What was the point of your test?
Well, I gave up, but when you guys said it sounded great.
That sounds great.
Yeah, what sounds good?
It sounds great.
I'm sure it'll sound great.
Well, that's the voice of Michael Orkin, today's special guest. But didn't I accuse you at some point early in our relationship of waging a war on simplicity?
Yeah, you did, and it stuck with me. That my default is to think of the way to make it more complicated.
And then
Mission
execute.
accomplished. Mission accomplished 45 minutes later.
What's 45 minutes among friends?
It sounds like it might be working.
I think it is
Chuck,
working.
are you happy enough to, you're good? Are we all officially good?
Check.
We're
Working
good.
A thumbs up. They can't hear you say thumbs up, Michael. I'm not committing to using any of this video, okay? So a thumbs up without an audio thumbs up is just the sound of silence, which
Right.
is death in a podcast.
Right.
What did I get wrong about our first meeting? Oh, I told the story of the worst bit of TV I ever did, which you produced, called Just What I Wanted.
Just What I Wanted, a holiday gift-giving guide.
Why would you want a colon?
Because if
Were you
you've ever
missing
had
one?
a semicolon, Chuck, you realize it's just not enough.
It's not enough. But in this meeting, he says, well, listen, I got this guy I know, done some stuff on QVC named Mike Rowe. You should consider him. And I said, well, I just did, and let's take him, because I don't have anybody. I'm new in town.
The car didn't have any color, Chuck. It was just primer. It was just a beige Mustang with Elvis painted on it and this character crawling out of the driver's side. It's shocking.
Well, the car was named the Fleshmobile. It wasn't primer. It was just tired, old beige paint. Photorealistic portrait of Elvis on the hood. And on the back, on the trunk lid, it said, "And my mama cried." And Rob Mayberry saw it and said, "That's wrong. It's and his mama cried."
His mama cried.
And his mama cried.
He wouldn't put on the Santa suit. So I put on the Santa suit.
What we have in this mall is a man who drives an old Mustang with Elvis on it, a long ponytail, who looks a lot like a scarecrow. It's the skinniest Santa ever, an emaciated Santa walking around a mall that's going to close in the next couple of months for sure. These places were all largely condemned. And me tagging along, trying to coax frightened children to crawl onto his lap as they told me what they wanted for Christmas. It was horrifying.
This piece of video, the last time I knew where it existed, and it's probably the last place it does exist, was in a Christmas wrapping that I gave to Mike Rowe as a Christmas present. And Mike Rowe does not keep up with shit. But if it exists, it's somewhere within reaching distance of Mike Rowe right now. So we went to an REM concert. But on the way, we stopped by a bar called Automatic Slims outside the Peabody. And the bartender was this hot woman who hooked us up with some drinks and later became my wife and got us hammered. Then we went to the REM concert and sat next to this beautiful girl who had a giant thing on her face. Do you
Right.
remember that, Mike? You kept calling it a carbuncle. Absolutely beautiful, but this giant eraser on her face.
You know, it was bigger than a wart. It seemed to have its own circulatory system, and it had a fair amount of hair growing out of it.
Okay. We're never going to use any of this.
I understand,
Sure we are.
but
Are you kidding? You know, we're going to cut it into the promo.
and I'll tell you how the
Because-
story begins because you screwed this one up.
All right, tell me again. It's the way you heard it.
Says Memphis, we sent one of our guys to Memphis, and I said, well, if an agency in LA sent anybody to Memphis, I can tell you exactly who it was. It was Mike Rowe, and you sent him to me because that doesn't happen every day in Memphis. And they go, yeah, it was Mike. And I said, yeah, well, that son of a bitch hadn't returned my Christmas cards. 6 years. Tell him to pound sand and drank, I don't know, until about 3 o'clock in the morning. But at some point, we ran out of scotch. And I said, I'm going to walk 200 yards to the liquor store and I got my drink in my hand, and I started walking, and I went, oh, I got my drink. I shouldn't take it with you. And Mike goes, take it with you. Show them you're serious. Longinati walks up to my office door and leans against it, and he goes, did we just air a story with Mike Rowe's arm in a cow? And I said, yeah.
One thing led to the next, and I made your life pretty miserable. And in the end, they let me out of my deal, and they gave me the rights to Somebody's Gotta Do It if I just left without a stink. That's the way I remember it, anyway. Must have been weird for you, though.
I can tell you one of the issues was that when you came in, you said, listen, I take this job, but I got this problem. See, I do this other show on the East Coast, and I need 10 weeks of vacation a year, which is only 8 weeks more than they were willing to give.
But it was still a great gig, and damn, we still had a lot of fun over that 3-year period. I just can't believe it took you that long to fire me.
The bosses kept going, where's Mike? And I'm like, didn't you just say,
He was just here.
he was just here somewhere. One of my favorite lines from Mike on Evening Magazine was we sent him out to Infineon Raceway to drive with Jamie McMurray, NASCAR Winston Cup, NASCAR driver. They come flying into turn 8. It's a hairpin turn. And Jamie McMurray goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. And Mike goes, as they're doing about 80 miles an hour in this rental car, he goes, oh, did you just say whoa, whoa, whoa? And Jamie McMurray says, well, you were accelerating when you're supposed to be braking. And Mike goes, well, to be fair, I was doing both. Mike scared the crap out of the NASCAR guy, which makes sense. Who's this idiot driving me around? The show had a $1.6 million budget, of which I never spent more than $1.4 million. Back when I was young and stupid and thought that somebody would care that I was saving the company $200,000 a year on my budget. But it was grossing $10 million. So we were making $10 million on 1.4 expense.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good numbers.
Well, here's where he screwed up, Chuck. He told me.
Chuck, I'm not going to lie to you. You'll never be able to use this for what we're doing now.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
They do the old, what are you doing this weekend? Mike says, oh, I'm probably going to hang out and maybe go to a winery. And Lou goes, I'm going to Special Olympics. And Mike goes, I hope you win. Night, everybody. And you know what I did? I aired it.
You aired it. You put that on the air.
I put that on the air.
So this is the big goodbye. It's a Friday, and it's exactly as Michael said. What are you doing? Just hanging out, going to read a book, maybe go to a winery. How about you? I'm going to the Special Olympics. Good luck, I said. I hope you win. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Bump, and we're out. Of course, I know that was insensitive, rude of me, and completely inappropriate. But Michael Orkin cut it in and put it on the air. Look, folks, you have to realize, A, this is a long time ago, and B, there really is a jacked up band of brothers mentality among people, not just who make television, but who make daily television. There were moments where, like in broadcast news, somebody is running that tape from the edit to the control room last minute. I would call down to the edit bay sometimes at 6:50 to see how we were doing, because maybe I had an episode on that night if Somebody's Got to Do It, and I was excited to see it. I want to make sure we make air. And I would call Michael and I'd say, how are we doing? Is it good? And he's like, good. It's better than good. It's done.
That's right.
And that's where our standards were.